Welcome to my podcast, Worlds Collide. I'm the host of the show, Victoria Daute, and I talk with my international guests here in the show about the experiences they made in their new country versus their home country. Hi there. So today I talked to my friend Sandi from Austria, and we both met on a trip in Costa Rica. And this is where she also met her husband from Australia. Yeah, this is where the story goes. Sandi moves from Austria to Australia, even though she was not very keen on it in the beginning, and also she was very pregnant. So yeah, this is what we talk about, and then of course we talk about all the other Australian stuff. Animals, poisonous animals, shark attacks, or living with big spiders in the house and cockroaches. Yeah, unfortunately, today's quality is not as good for the first half of the episode, but I think it's still a very interesting listen, and you kind of get used to it, I want to say, after 1 minute. So yeah, give it a go. It's a good one. All right, hang in there. Hi, Sandi. I welcome you from Sydney.
Hello.
And you are originally, you are originally from Austria.
Yes.
Yes. And how long have you been in Sydney now, or in Australia?
I think it's almost 10 years. 10 years this Christmas, I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time already.
Yeah. Time flies.
Time flies. And so how come that you ended up in Sydney?
Well, as you know, around maybe 12 years ago, I went traveling with a friend to Central America. And I think pretty much on day 2, we got lost because I think it's called the travel book. What is it called?
The Lonely Planet?
Yeah, The Lonely Planet said to get off the bus at this particular bus stop. And yeah, we did. And there was not the hostel that it was, it said in the Lonely Planet. So we are pretty much stranded on a lonely road. And there I bumped into you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, funny. Yeah.
And into my future husband.
Yes.
So yeah, and we just spent all afternoon walking to the hostel, and then we shared a room. You and us two.
I don't even remember if it was a long walk. It felt like,
God.
now thinking back, it's like a 20-minute walk or something.
No, it was like, I tell you, it was like the longest walk. I think we walked for at least 1.5 hours, and in the middle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I remember I was so hot, and we were all so hot and sweaty. And when we arrived at the hostel, we pretty much just changed into our swimmers and went for a swim. It was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember. Because I also had a very heavy bag to carry, and it was like, I think you at the time, you've been in Costa Rica for a while, and we just arrived, so it was also, the climate to get used to, and the humidity and everything. So I remember it being very hot.
It was hot and humid.
Yes, exactly.
And you had to walk for 1.5 hours. Great. With a heavy backpack.
Yeah. But yeah, and Dharma, my husband, was there as well. And that's how I met him. And I guess that's how I ended up in Australia.
So I remember that Dharma also planned to move to Austria in the beginning.
Yes, I think we did like long distance for almost 2 years. And, it's kind of like we were both in our 30s, so it was like, okay, either we make a move or this is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I had just finished my studies, and yeah, I wasn't ready to move to Australia. I thought I need to get some work experience, just, to have a better start in Australia, I guess, to
Yeah.
have some experience in my field. And so I said, if you want to come, then you're welcome. And so he pretty much quit everything and came to Austria. Yeah. And then I think it only took 4 months and I was pregnant.
Yeah, yes. And then you moved to Australia when you about to give birth?
Pretty much. Well, I, you know, I was like 22 weeks, I think. And the original plan was that I would come even later, but then I was scared that, traveling alone, highly pregnant, you don't really,
Super pregnant,
yeah.
yes.
And, it's a long trip. It's like 30 plus
Yeah,
hours. So,
yeah.
yeah, we didn't really want to risk that. And I remember the flight was like crazy expensive, like,
Sure.
I don't know, yeah, 3,000 euros or something because I booked last minute,
Oh,
for
wow.
New Year's Eve. Yeah,
Wow. So moving to a new country, very pregnant, are you like not
yeah, very
very
scary.
scary? Yes. Even like if you give birth in your or at
It's
home,
scary.
you have but like family around it and you understand everything and you kind of
Yeah.
probably have a procedure, it kind of heard what's going on, but then in
Mm.
Australia, new
No,
system, I don't know.
yeah, I was actually, I did not want to move to Australia pregnant. I told Dharma he has to find a job in Austria. I want to have my family around. I was
Yeah,
very scared of giving birth, and especially in, Australia where I didn't know anyone. Um,
sure.
but yeah, it was just Dharma pretty much didn't listen to me, and because he was just so worried that he couldn't find a job. His German wasn't good, it was very basic.
That was his biggest worry about finding another job.
Yeah, I think that was his
Mm,
biggest worry. Yeah, because I was just fresh out of uni. I didn't get maternity leave or anything, so we pretty much didn't have a lot of money because he spent all his savings to come to
sure.
Austria and just live with me for half a year without doing, without having an income. So there was his savings gone, and yeah, no, so it was hard. And I said, no, I don't want to go. And he was just applying to jobs behind my back, and then
In
got a
Australia.
in Australia and got a job offer, and yeah, just said, yeah, I got to take this one, and we need to go back.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, no, I don't want to. But in the end, I think it was all so hard. The Austrian, uh, the government, they don't make it easy because he was Australian, so we didn't really get a lot of money if he would have stayed and not worked, So it
Okay.
was like, in the end, I walked out in tears of this, what's it called? I don't know the English name for it.
Government agency.
Yeah. So I had a chat to them what our options would be, and they were just so grumpy and friendly. Like they were talking to
Mm.
me as if I was, you're fresh out of uni. Your parents can still support you. I'm like, no, I'm 30 years old. My parents won't support me
Yeah.
anymore. Like I just want, I mean, give me some money. Like I've worked for at that time for, I don't know, 12 years already next to university. So anyway, it was all not friendly, and
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, let's go to Australia, well, because the Australians are all so laid back and friendly,
Yeah, okay.
you know. But it's also not easy to just go to Australia without a visa. So I had to apply for the partner visa, which is a lot of paperwork as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know, or in America it's probably
Yeah, it's probably
different.
similar.
But
Yeah, but you just need a visa.
yeah,
Yeah.
and in the end, we just decided to get married
Yeah,
to
sure.
make things
Yeah,
easier. Yeah.
understandable. I
Yeah.
think many people do it that way. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he asked me to marry him before I was pregnant. So it wasn't like I was pregnant and then, oh, let's get married and
Okay,
move. So
okay, okay.
we already were engaged before I was pregnant.
Okay, so but you just like sped up the process.
I think, he proposed we had our 2-year meeting anniversary. And
Okay.
he proposed, and I think I got pregnant in Paris. So because when I came back, I was like, oh, we're engaged, and then 2 weeks later, oh, we're pregnant. So it all happened very fast for us.
And then when you landed in Sydney, how did you feel?
Well, quite. I was quite, shy, and I was scared because the medical system here is different to Austria. It's, when you're in Austria, I had my private gynecologist during pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
and here it's like, you have to choose between hospital and midwife services, and so you just, and to get into the midwife program, it's really hard, because everyone wants to have their own midwife, and
Mm-hmm.
because I was already, way like
So far
so far
ahead
ahead,
in your
yeah.
pregnancy?
I didn't get a spot in the midwife program, so I just had to go to the hospital, and it was all very, I didn't know. Every time I went there, I had a different doctor. It wasn't. I just didn't enjoy it very much, to be honest.
Yeah, it was not personal.
Mm.
Mm.
But the best thing I did was to go to an antenatal group in the
Uh-huh.
hospital, and that's also where I met, a lot of friends that are still my friends to this day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. That was good. Because I didn't have any friends and family except for Dharma's
Mm-hmm.
family and friends. So it was good to have them, but it was also, everything was new.
Yeah.
So
What were like for you the biggest differences?
well, I think, in Australia, everyone is very friendly and open, and everyone starts chatting to you, even though you don't know
Yeah.
the person. It's just you go to the supermarket and you just pay for your groceries, and the women, the what is it called, cashier, she just starts chatting with you about how's your day, pretty much how's your life, what's
Yeah.
up, and I was always like really, I was just very shy with my speaking as well, I guess, new language. I mean, I had good English, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
at that time, but, I just didn't know a lot of vocabulary. So I always felt insecure when I was talking to strangers, especially.
Sure, sure. And how long did it take you to feel comfortable talking to strangers?
Fine. I'm totally fine now. It's just because I don't have to think about, you know, the translation anymore. I think when I came here, I always thought, okay, how do I say this?
Yeah, yeah.
And and I didn't want to make mistakes because, yeah. And everyone kept on saying, "Your English is great. Don't worry." And I was just like, "Oh, I don't want to make any mistakes when I'm talking. It's so embarrassing." I don't know. I'm this type of person, I just feel embarrassed very easily, I guess. So I was the one at the mothers group, that was just listening, not talking much, always the quiet one, and
Okay.
same in the job. Like I've been working with Mandy, my boss, now for 7 years. And she also said when I interviewed for the job, I was so shy, I didn't talk much, and now we are, now it's different, obviously, 7 years later. But she also said that my English got so much better, and my confidence in talking, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, more comfortable. Yes. But that's nice that you met through your prenatal class. You made like lots of friends.
Yes.
And
Well, Dharma put us into this antenatal group where you just learn how to, where your partner learns how to support you, and just breathing techniques and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, like in the movies.
Yeah. And we are just a small group, I think, of 10 people, yeah, 5 couples or so. And yeah, one of my best friends now, Caitlin, I met her there, and another good one, Rachel. Yeah, like, and another German girl. Yeah, it was good, just to, because when we all had the kids, it was just, I knew somebody, and they were like calling me and saying, let's go to the mothers group. I don't think, if I didn't have that connection, that I would have even gone to a mothers group on my own,
Yeah.
And in that mothers group, then you meet so many other new people, because they're bigger. They're like, 20 moms, and
it
just
sounds like
nice.
it sounds like a general new mother's problem, because you kind of always need new friends, when you're the first one who gets pregnant, it's like a total new thing now. So I feel like it's like mothers looking for other friend mothers.
Yeah. It's good because you're at home all day with the baby.
Exactly. And you feel lonely too.
Yeah. And I was actually really homesick
Oh
time
yes,
as well,
yes. Because what did you miss most?
I guess, I missed my family and friends the most. Just, because Dharma was back to work, and
Sure.
we were living in Bondi at the time, and it was amazing. We just short walk to the beach, and I was just pretty much spending all day walking from beach to beach, meet up with other moms at playgrounds, just have coffees, sometimes have a drink.
Sure. But Dharma just started his new job, so he did not have any paternal leave.
No.
So you were basically by yourself?
Yes.
Now new place, all by yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It was hard. So I was actually so glad that I had met those 2 girls at the antenatal group. Actually, 3 girls. Some of them moved back to their, it's very multicultural in Bondi, especially. So there were a lot of moms that don't live here anymore. So there's only one left, I think, now. That everyone moved back to New Zealand, Scotland, England, like everywhere.
Yeah. And then, so how long did it take you until you started working?
Well, I wasn't keen to work, to be honest. I was quite nervous about it. But Dharma pushed. He was like, you gotta work. Sydney is so expensive. Like, you pay, I mean, especially I guess in Bondi,
Yeah.
you pay a lot of rent, and it's a weekly payment. It's also
Sure, I
different
remember. That's right.
yeah. So, to compare it, I think I paid, like, in Vienna, I paid 400 euros a month. I paid 750 a week.
Yeah.
So it was like,
That's a big difference.
of course, you have a better salary as well, but it was still just, I don't even know how we could survive, because now we're both having way better salaries, and still, struggle with saving money. But I
Yeah.
guess now we have two kids as well, and
Yeah, they suck all the money out of you.
mm,
Their kids are
especially
expensive.
daycare.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, daycare is also very expensive here. You pay like, I don't know, like half your salary goes into daycare pretty much.
Sounds very similar to here.
But to be honest, I love Sydney. Sydney is such a beautiful city. It has everything you want, It's like big city, but it doesn't feel like you're living in the city.
And you have nature.
It's so green. I've never seen a greener city. And then you have the water everywhere, like it's just beach after beach. And we live in the eastern suburbs, so it's nice to be close to the beach. I just walk 500 meters and I'm down at the beach. But
That sounds very dreamy.
yeah, it's very good. But we're still renting, and at the moment we're just trying to find a house to buy. But it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Interest rates, are going up, and
I feel like all the big cities, wherever you listen to, like in Germany, the big cities,
mm,
they are, I don't know, outrageous to find something, not houses, but apartments.
mm, mm.
And here in the States, it's also crazy, crazy real estate market.
Dama is very keen to leave Sydney, and to buy a house like an hour south, just because you get so much more for your money. But I have my friends and my community here now. I don't want to start from scratch again. I
Understand? Yeah.
we also have his brother and wife here, who are our number one babysitters. We have his mom here, like
Sure. Yes, you don't have
I
that.
don't know. You can commute if you're just 1 hour out of the city, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. I'm not keen, and he tries to convince me to buy somewhere else, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We actually just went camping last week, and so we drove through that town where he wants to buy, and it's
Uh-huh.
the town is where he went to university, so he has an emotional connection to it. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any, like we drove through
Yeah.
that town, and it was like, oh no, I don't want to be here, like, oh God, it looks like,
Mm.
I don't know, it looked like you're back in the 70s or something.
Oh,
It's,
okay. So everything is kind of old.
yeah, like, and there was a lot of, like there was just one long beach, and at the end of the beach there was like a harbor port, where all the big ships come in.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like. I just didn't like it. I have been to the town before, but I was just not a fan, and just realized that I don't want to move there. So.
So yeah, but like I think for me it would be starting from scratch again, It's an effort.
Mm,
You
mm,
just don't make friends when you're an adult just like that.
mm. I mean, I guess, when you're pregnant, and the way I made my friends here um, wasn't that hard. But, for me, because I was quite shy, it was still, I always felt like I can't express myself in English as I would be in German. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I felt like I'm not the same person. you know,
Yeah.
I people
Mm-hmm.
didn't really get to know the true Sandy, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but comes time, I think now, you know, they know the real Sandy.
Yeah, but
Oh.
that's true. I totally understand what you mean.
Mm,
It's hard to describe, but it's also the way you talk, it's different.
mm, mm.
It's like for me,
Yeah,
it's also like a different kind of how do you tone the
yeah,
sentences? I don't
yeah,
know how to say
yeah,
it, but it's like in German, I don't know, would do this up and down or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, like for example, I'm a very sarcastic person, so and then you say something and then it comes, like people don't get me, and I'm like, oh God, what can I
So
think
you
of
said
me? And
something wrong.
yeah,
Yes. So
so
you say Australians in general don't get sarcasm,
um,
or
yeah,
just
yeah. Now that you talking about this, yeah, maybe my husband certainly does not get my sarcasm.
So, do you have any other things that are hard for you to comprehend sometimes?
Um, yeah, I guess as I said, the medical system that still frustrates me to this day because it's all
Okay.
very different. Now that I'm in my 40s, I feel like I have to do all these health checks because, you know, like I want to do a mammogram. I want to do, like I want to do all these cancer checks because we had a lot of cancer in my family, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, it's all so difficult. You always have to go through your GP, your general practitioner, and most of like they just look at you and they pretty much say, no, you're fine. And
Okay.
only like
So,
if you really
yeah.
like say, yeah, I really need to see a specialist, then they give you a referral. It feels like it's really hard to see, yeah, to see a specialist if you want to, and it's super expensive as well.
Yeah. So, no preventing care. It's just
Yeah,
more
yeah,
once you have it, then they will
yeah,
take you in,
yeah,
but they don't want to help you to prevent anything.
yeah. That's how it feels to me because in Austria
Mm,
you have these health checks every year. You go to your gynecologist twice a year to get your pap smears and whatever. But here, nothing, nothing.
okay. Oh,
So
I
I,
did not know this.
yeah, so I just feel like I need to start reaching out to specialists myself to get all those health checks done. That's just at the moment, because
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
yeah, that's still, I don't like the system here.
And what about things you like? I mean, except of probably the beach.
Yeah, I love the beach. And I always said to Dharma before we moved, I said, okay, if I move to the other side of the world, then we need to live close to the beach. That's
Yeah, that's
that's
your one
everything I want. Yeah,
your one
and
thing.
and I think I also said I want to go home to Austria at least once a year or
Uh-huh.
every 2 years, which has also been not so easy, especially during COVID.
Sure. And also with kids,
I haven't been home in 4 years. Yeah, with
it's
kids.
so expensive.
It's expensive. Um, I mean, we just booked flights to go to Austria in December, and it's actually okay if you book like a long time ahead.
Okay.
Wasn't this expensive because I had to fly to Austria in January because my dad was sick, and I just paid like yeah, just very expensive if you
Ridiculous
just
amount.
book it,
Mm-hmm.
to go a couple of days after you
Yeah.
book. No, I love the life in Sydney. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Sometimes, always when we are on holidays in Austria, we are like, oh, maybe, because I have land where we could build a house, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
my sister just built a house. So it's like, oh, it's actually nice here. But then I remind myself, okay, it's summer, you're not working, you're on holiday, all your friends, are
Yeah.
here, you're just hanging out at the lake, and you're not working. So if you move to Austria, it's not always gonna be summer. It's gonna be foggy for most of the year.
Yeah.
Unlike Australia, where it's like literally sunny almost every day, and it's different. I miss the snow and the seasons, but I guess I still prefer to have it quite warm all year round
Mm-hmm. But you
and
have
no
two
fog.
seasons, right?
No, we do we do have we do have 4 seasons in Sydney, but for example, now it's autumn, and we just went camping last week, and we went swimming every day. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I
It's
guess
a warm
it's a
autumn.
warm autumn. Winter is not nice in Australia. I mean, it's actually it's just the problem is the houses in Sydney are not built for cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have general heating in the houses. You don't have
Yeah.
double glazed windows. Yeah, it's just it gets so cold in the house that
Mm-hmm.
that's a typical Australian thing. They just wear their hoodies and their UGG boots, and they're just for 2 months you just wear like outdoor clothes inside the house pretty much.
It's fine. I remember, but that's for me, it's 20 years ago when I was there in Australian winter. I just remember it was really wet inside the houses too.
A lot of
Because there's a it's like,
humidity. Mm.
yeah, cold humidity.
Mm. Which is very problematic actually, because you get so much mold um,
Mm.
in like not only in the old houses, and like everywhere. Like I have friends that live in new buildings and they still get the mold. I'm like,
Okay.
can't Australians like build proper houses? Sorry to say that.
Well, it's here it's the same. I mean, I think it depends where you are, but I mean, in general, in America, the houses are famously made from wood,
Hmm.
and here it's so hot. So in summer you have to have the AC running all the time, and we also
Hmm.
have no perfect insulation.
Hmm.
And also most houses, like especially the old houses, they don't have double pane windows.
Mm.
So it's like let the AC run with an open window, basically, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the same here. Yeah, in summer it's so hot, and in winter it's cold and wet. And so we actually bought a dehumidifier last year, and it just sucks out so much water every day.
And you have a lot of water really fast, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
We have it too, and I was surprised how much
Mm.
water it's gonna soak
Yeah,
up.
it's crazy, like liters of
Um,
water every day, and now you just see, how wet it gets. And like we had the last 2 years, it was what it's called La Nina, El
yeah,
Nina, so it's a lot of
yeah.
rain coming. So pretty much the last summer, 2022, was very wet, and very wet spring, autumn, winter, and now it's finally over, they said. So like our grass in the garden was just, mud,
Oh,
really.
okay.
So much
Usually
rain.
here it's just hay or straw.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because the year before it was so hot that everything was burning in Australia is either burning or
Oh,
flooding. But
perfect.
there's almost no in between. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we just don't live in a flooding or bush
Mm-hmm.
area, so
Yeah.
it's quite safe here. Although the first thing you think when you think of Australia is probably all the dangerous, venomous animals. And you do get like you know, you live with them, I guess.
You live with them.
We
Were you scared of it in the beginning?
not in Bondi, not
Or
so much.
still?
I mean, you know, I guess what I hate still to this day is just that you get cockroaches. I never had cockroaches in Austria growing up, you know, and in Bondi is really like cockroach infested. So every apartment.
Oh yeah, here too.
It's just
and they're big,
yeah,
right?
they're like enormous, like 10 centimeters. Like, and then they just fly. Like we were living in the third floor, and they just come flying through the air vents or in the balcony or like the windows, and you can hear them. And I would always like in the middle of the night, Tama, there's a cockroach. I can hear it. And he was like, there's no cockroach. You know? I'm like, turn on the light. You know? And there was like a cockroach sitting on the wall, you know, above me. He's like, you hear everything. I'm like, yeah, I hear every cockroach walking on the floorboard.
I hear them too. Because we also have a lot of them, and I know when I'm like, for example, like watching in the dark some TV in our living room, and we have hardwood floors, and you hear them. I don't know. It's like it has, but you know that special sound now. You know, like in the beginning, I would have probably not recognized it, but now I'm like, oh, it's a cockroach.
Yes. Yeah, I'm definitely like that. But I also like, we get the big huntsmen, and they're like sometimes as big or bigger than your hand, and you just also you watch TV and everything is dark, and then you just see this dark spot on the wall, and you're like, is this a spider or is this just a shadow? It's a spider. And then I have never caught a spider before because they're so quick, and I guess it takes experience. And Dama always catches them, but it happened many times that you don't catch the spider, and then it's like, okay, the spider crawled into your wardrobe. Okay, great. So it's living there now. And you can't really, I moved out of our bedroom a couple of times because I knew there was a spider in the room, and I couldn't find it.
You didn't know where it is. Yeah.
So I moved out, and every night I would go and with the torch or with the phone and look if it's coming out at night. And sometimes I remember one time it was just sitting in my son's room right behind him on the wall, and I'm just like at 3 a.m. Damn! Oh, the spider! Catch it! Really just thinks I'm crazy. But yeah, I don't like living with spiders and cockroaches. And we had a snake once in the garden. I didn't like that either. But yeah.
We live in the suburbs of Sydney, and we have the national park right behind us. So there's always lots of animals around. Let's say like this.
Yeah.
So we did have a poisonous snake in the garden once, which kind of freaked me out. Because you kind of feel like the kids are not safe when because I think I still have it in my blood that the kids want to go out in the garden and play. I say, of course you can go, and I don't think about it. But then here in Australia, you have to just learn that or realize that there are a lot of spiders, and even if they are small and they don't look poisonous, they can be, or some of them are. And I don't know, we have a little cubby house in the garden, and Kobe, my little one, he just goes in there, and sometimes he hasn't been in there in weeks. And then when I see him in there, I'm like, oh, I better go and check.
Oh my God, I would freak out. Oh God.
Because it's also so, a small wooden house and lots of cracks and
easy
there's
access
spider
for
webs
everything.
everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
We have one too, and in ours, I went in there today and I always freak out because we also have snakes sometimes.
Yep.
No poisonous or big spiders, but we have the snakes and the cockroaches too. And so like today or yesterday I went in there and I'm like, I don't want to go in, but I had to get the lawnmower.
Oh yeah.
And then I just saw like really big cockroaches, like 5 of them like crawling on the wall.
It's disgusting. I don't know. I mean, when my mom comes and visits us, she always picks up the cockroaches and it's like, it's just a bug. Like, because in Austria, we would pick up every bug, like every beetle, or it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not scared or I'm not grossed out about it. But here, I think when I came to Australia first time and I saw cockroaches, it didn't freak me out. I was like, that's a cockroach, because I haven't seen one before, And I think the longer you live here, the more you get disgusted by them, because they're so fast and you don't expect them, and then they're just, you pick something up and then they're like, run away, and it's just like, whoop.
Yeah, they are fast for sure.
I hate them. But snakes, are usually more dangerous because they just lie in the sun and you don't see them and you step on them.
And they're like so invisible. They're sometimes when we mow the lawn, it's hard to say. Then you just see them like escape in front of the lawnmower. And then I was like, how did I not see this? It was right in front of me. I mean,
what color are the snakes in Texas? Brown?
I mean, yeah, brown. I mean, but even in the grass, you don't see them.
Because here we have the red belly black snake, which is very common here in this area, and it's poisonous. And like, you should see it in the grass because it's black and it has a red belly, like, so it kind of like
sticks out,
but still, it was like, I just never see anything, and my husband points them out to me and I'm like, oh my God, I would have stepped on it.
So you don't want to go barefoot outside, right?
No, but I do, I mean, we don't have a big garden, but it's still enough grass and still, close enough to the national park to have everything in the backyard. We even get foxes and stuff,
Oh,
so
nice. Nice.
A variety of animals. And then you go to the beach and then there are the deadly octopuses and
the deadly jellyfish, and the jellyfish are further up north, right?
Yeah, no, we don't really get, because it's too cold. The water is too cold here in Sydney.
But you got the sharks.
But we have the sharks, and we just had like a really horrific shark attack last year at our beach, which was kind of freaked everyone out, because he was just
for sure
swimming and like a great white just basically just, there was nothing left of him, and fishermen saw the whole thing and they filmed it and it was on social media, and it was like horrendous, so
oh my God,
I actually haven't been to that beach.
And then that was like on a really busy public beach?
It was, but he was like swimming at the very end of the beach where the cliffs are, and so all the fishermen are there fishing, and you usually don't swim out that far, but he was here in Sydney. They do like swim races where they swim from beach to beach, so you have to go out and back in, like so. And he was actually training for one race that was on the week after, and yeah, I guess he was wearing a neoprene, like a wetsuit, and he was. The fisherman said, yeah, he was in a fish bait, like there was lots of fish around, so the shark just came from underneath,
I see.
grabbed him and bit him in half.
Oh
Like
my
I don't
God.
want to say it. It's terrible, and yeah, it was. But you also need to know that this was the first deadly shark attack in over 60 years in Sydney. So it doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't happen all the time, but like
if it does,
deadly, but like still,
yeah,
you just lose an arm or a leg, but still, that's, I
and
don't
we have
know.
like it won't happen if you're just going for a swim at the beach. You have to go further out, or I don't know, swim at different times, like swim in the dark or at sunset, or
Yeah,
that's when
okay, let's
things
change
happen.
the subject.
Yeah, change the subject.
Shit, okay. So
Sorry.
no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, like, I think it kind of comes with the territory. Because I mean, Australia is famous for all this, right?
Yeah, and it does happen, but it doesn't happen a lot. I mean, same with snakes, and you hear sometimes. I think a couple of weeks ago in our national park, somebody was bitten, but nobody really dies from a snake, these days, or a spider bite.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's like far away or something.
Because the hospital is closed. Yeah. But we're not in the wilderness here in Sydney.
No. So, okay, so now you are in Australia for over 10 years. Would you say Sydney is your home now?
Yes. But I also refer as, Austria is my home too. But yeah, I mean, I live here 99% of the time, and sometimes I go on a holiday to Austria, and then it feels normal to be back home. But yeah, I definitely would say Australia is my home now. And
so when you go back, does it take you a while to adjust, or is it for you immediately that you feel like, oh yeah, okay, I'm back home, I'm like Austrian?
Yeah, it's interesting because you get out of the plane and you're on a plane for 30 hours. So you get off the plane and then you're like, oh, it's nice to be back, and it takes a couple minutes, and then when you're on the highway, because I live in the south, so I have to after the plane I have another 3-hour
drive
to my hometown. So it's like, then when you're on the highway, it's like, oh, it feels good to be back, and just everything looks the same. You're usually in the car with my mom or my aunt or my sister, and it just doesn't really change the feeling.
In the beginning, for me, when I came back, I think that was only for the first few years. But then if you meet up with somebody and you just saw them, I don't know, maybe a year ago, then it always feels like, oh, it just feels like I haven't even left.
Yeah.
I mean, now it doesn't feel like it anymore. Can you say that's the same for you?
That's the same for me. I mean, also these days, I keep in contact via FaceTime or with my family and my friends. So you're always in the loop. You know what's happening. It's like it's not.
It's easier, right?
Yeah, because you see pictures, you see videos. We just, I don't know. We have a WhatsApp family chat, so even though I can't come to all the family get-togethers, I know about them and I see the photos. And it's like I still feel part of it, even though I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I guess that makes it easier as well, because during COVID we couldn't go home, and then I think it was 4 years that I hadn't been home, and last year we went first time, and it just still didn't feel weird. Opposite, I was like, wow, I can't believe it's been 4 years since the last time I was here. There's always things that change, and
Do you still do some things in your everyday life or seasonal things that are very Austrian?
I guess it's in my blood. But I like the seasonal things. I would say Christmas, we always celebrate the Austrian way on the 24th. I mean, in Austria we have the Christkind, not the Santa. So
we do
that's
too.
different. But I didn't know how to deal with that at the beginning, and so I was always telling my son about it, that in Austria the Christkind is coming, and so we kind of started doing it this way. So on the 24th he gets the presents. He knows they are from us, but it's like from the Christkind. And then on the 25th, Santa comes, obviously, in the morning, and there will be a big present.
Okay, so you do double?
Yeah, it's just he gets the presents from the family on the Saturday, and then Santa comes, and there's one present under the tree the next day.
Yeah.
And I guess, sometimes we do the Nikolaus as well on the 6th of December. And because I'm in a big German group in Sydney, we also do Laternenumzug. Don't know the English word.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Like a lantern walk, which is nice because
in November 11th, I think.
Yeah, we just make the lanterns with the kids and then walk along the beach.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cute. Yeah. That they did that in San Francisco too.
Oh, really?
From the German schools, they organized it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, here in the eastern suburbs, we don't have a German school, which is it's a bit upsetting me, because I would love for my kids to have German at school. But the German school is on the other side of the bridge, Sydney Harbour.
Okay.
And it's like 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
And the eastern suburbs in Sydney are super expensive, but the northern beaches are even more expensive, So
I see.
Living there is, I don't know. We can't afford it, and we also like living on this side.
Okay, sure. Do you speak English with the kids at home, or do you speak German with them?
I'm pretty bad. I speak English. I guess everyone always complains, and when I go to Austria, and everyone says, "Why don't you talk German to the kids?" I'm like, okay, now I will talk German again, and they understand because I talk a lot of German with my friends, and I spoke German to my firstborn for a long time, but it just switched when he started going to daycare 5 days a week, and then he wouldn't just want me to talk German anymore, and then everything just I was working, and then at the dinner table, obviously I was speaking English, so Dharma could understand, So it's, I guess it's easier if both parents are
Sure.
German.
Thank you for your time. That was really nice to catch up.
Thank you. It was a fun experience.
Yes, that was the episode with Sandi from Austria in Australia. She sounded really happy to me, and I also thought it was so interesting that a big part of her is still so Austrian, but she still says Sydney is her home. Yeah, so she does also these friendship books for kids. They're called My Friendship Books. She wanted to talk a little bit about it, but we kind of forgot about it, so I want to mention them. These are books for kids that they can fill out. It has name, age, how tall they are, date of birth, what their favorite things to do are, what their favorite color is, things like that. And then they pass them along to their friends, and so they have a nice memory for later when they're older. And you can buy them on their website at www.myfriendshipbooks.com, and also everything is on the show notes. Our email address, worldscollide123pod@gmail.com or worldscollidepod on Instagram, also the website. I hope you had fun and that you will tune in for the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.